is this the beginning of the bull market? Bitcoin is above 100K, altcoins are starting to do very well, Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, and really good news between USA and China. So good video ahead, let's go into it. So let's start with Michael Saylor, again buying another 1.3 billion at 99K. So again, Michael Saylor just buying Bitcoin like a crazy man, another billion. This just shows immense conviction. I think he's now either the number one holder of Bitcoin or the second one. But if someone like him is buying so much, I just can imagine that other people will follow. So really good news. Nothing surprising here. It's just doing this for quite a while. Another and very, very important thing. So USA and China got to an agreement. I think tariffs will be at 30% for USA and China 10%. So really good news. Let's see if this will continue. And these good news between USA and China are just amazing for risk on assets overall. This was the only bottleneck I was looking at. I'm like, if this can be solved, which I think it would, to be honest, we're going to have a bull market and altcoins are responding to that. So let's look into the charts. So let's start with Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin is at supply. So I would expect some kind of retracement right here. We are having really good news at the top, and usually I don't like that. So I'm expecting a small correction for Bitcoin. I hope I'm wrong and we can continue just going higher, but even a correction towards 100K, even 98 to 97, we have a fair value gap here, I think could happen, and then we could continue higher. The other scenario is we start breaking above all-time highs and then go to 120 to 130K. If you look at the M2, definitely that's a scenario to consider. According to M2 money supply, we should be, or we could be, between 130 and 150K around August. So looking good for Bitcoin overall. If you look at the oscillators, momentum indicator, and RSI, still starting on the weekly, as you can see here, and the chart is looking really good. But of course we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. So that's why I'm saying we could have a correction here, and this is the best level to have a correction because it's at all-time highs. So I expect, that's my number one scenario, a small move down and then continuation higher, or we could simply start breaking above all-time highs and then this previous supply becomes demand. If you look at every indicator, the 12 and 21 are bullish, also above the crucial moving averages 50 to 100. So overall, Bitcoin looking really, really good, and altcoins are starting to outperform, which is amazing. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, this is the most important thing. You have Bitcoin dominance for the first time since December, breaking the trend, as you can see here. Also, another very important piece is breaking below the 12 and 21. This only happened in November of last year. And as you can see, we went from 61 to 55, more or less. So this was a 11% move down, and doesn't seem like much, but the 10% move down in Bitcoin dominance is insane for altcoins. This is a level where I expect Bitcoin dominance to have a bounce. And that's why I think Bitcoin might go a bit down now. Altcoins maybe suffer a bit more, and then we continue higher. Looking overall, I think either the top is in for Bitcoin dominance, which I think we still reach 70%. Historically, we only had alt season when Bitcoin dominance hit 70 to 74%. We hit 65, could be the top. I still expect at least a move towards 70. After that, I think altcoins are going to have a really good move, and we could expect a correction of 20 to 30%. I don't think we're going to have such a big bull market like last time. 45%. Bitcoin is more institutionalized, so I don't think we're going to see such a big drop. But overall, bullish. Let's see if this is the top or if we have another move towards 70. If there is a place where I think we can bounce is around here. Between 62 and 60%, I think Bitcoin dominance bounces and then makes another lower high and continues making lower lows. So looking good for altcoins. I think the next 2-3 months are going to be very, very strong. Another thing I like to see is Ethereum against Bitcoin. Very strong, breaking trend line, breakoff structure right here. The first time that I see Ethereum breaking trend against Bitcoin in a while. The last time I seen this, it was 1.5 years ago. So Ethereum historically also is one of the most important assets to track altcoins. If Ethereum is weak, altcoins are weak. If Ethereum is strong, outperforming Bitcoin, you can expect altcoins to follow. So Ethereum, really good. If you go to the monthly time frame, I've been saying this on my Discord, that I think this is a potential bottom for Ethereum, and so far it's playing out well. If you look at the momentum indicator, we are at the bottom, RSI 2. That's why I think the next few months alts are going to do well, because Ethereum looks like it's going to do well. If you look at Ethereum price, 2,500, key level of resistance. I think around here we might have a correction. If not, you could expect Ethereum to be above 3K in the next month, or in the next few weeks. So Ethereum looking good. If you look at altcoins, also breaking structure. This is a supply zone. If we start breaking above this, expect altcoins to go from 300 billion to 500. I still think this bull market altcoins hit $1 trillion. This would be a 200-300% move. Remember last cycle, altcoins did 700% in a span of 4.5 months. And remember, Bitcoin went from 10 to 40K, altcoins barely moved, and then in 3-4 months when Bitcoin went from 40 to 60K, altcoins did the entire move. So this time will be the same. Altcoins are the last one to move. I'm starting to have a good feeling about this. I think altcoins are going to do well in the next few months, but remember, we're going to have corrections along the way. That's normal, and that's also a good opportunity to trade. Another important thing, USDT dominance, clearly breaking below the 12 and 21, breaking also below this trend line. If you look on the weekly, USDT is in a downtrend, so I expect in the next few weeks to break below 3.74. Remember, USDT, when it's bearish, is really good for risk on assets. It means people are moving from USDT to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana to crypto. So really good to see also weakness in this. Now let's look at altcoins. So Tau today went to one of the most heavy resistance zones, which is around 500. I think this is a zone where we see a small correction for Tau. As you can see, we had several wicks here. And as you can see, we went to almost 500. We corrected. I could see definitely Tau have a small correction. Maybe it goes to 420 or even low 400s and then continues going to new all-time highs. Is by far the best project out there. Really innovative, decentralized like Bitcoin, or at least it's getting there. 100 plus subnets. It's just, instead of wasting the computational power you have for just security, you are actually using all that compute to create intelligence and solve real world problems. So by far for me the biggest conviction. I hope it has a smaller correction so I could buy more, but overall the chart looks amazing and we are in a big uptrend. Also, if you look Tau against Bitcoin, in the last month Tau outperformed Bitcoin 104%. So this is a heavy area of resistance, also Tau against Bitcoin. That's why I expect this to be a level where Tau maybe slows down a bit, and then also subnets start to do a bit better because they've been down against Tau, and after that we have another move to all-time highs. If you look at Tau against Bitcoin, you can see that we are just starting. So as you can see, just broke the weekly trend line, breaking this key level, and then we're gonna see Tau doing all-time highs against Bitcoin. Another one that is showing strength that I really like is Sui. I think Sui and Solana will be the two competitors like Android and Apple. So for me, also very good, cheap, fast. we could have a small correction here. Is the only place I could see towards 3.32. From here we could even have a good move. These are some of the trades I give my members on Discord. If you want to be a part, then you can message me on Instagram or join through Whop. So looking good for Sui. If we look at Solana, another project I really like, we are at the 0.5 level. So we have range highs, range lows, and mid. We are currently at the mid. Also really good supply zone right here. So if Solana starts to break above 180, could expect this to also attempt new all-time high. So these are the 3 coins I'm looking at. I also think Sonic breaking above 62 cents becomes bullish. So another coin I'm looking at, and Hyperliquid, of course, I really like this one too. Currently at resistance, I wouldn't buy now. I wouldn't buy majority of the altcoins now. I would wait for a small dip and then start buying again because they moved 100 and 150% in 1 month. So I know I think alt season will happen, but just DCA, don't put all in now, just dollar cost average every single day. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much. See you soon.